Matt Cullen here from Unchain Your Mind, and I want to talk to you today about what it is that's different about hypnotherapy at Unchain Your Mind. And what it boils down to is that we draw a very, very important distinction that I don't think other hypnotherapists draw. And that is the distinction between what is your brain and what is your mind. So your brain is this physical thing that's in your head and it's somehow involved with thinking. Now you can have a brain in front of you and you can prod it and poke it and zap it, and actually that's what a lot of research into the brain is all about. However, your mind is different because your mind includes the content of your thoughts. It includes your beliefs and ideas. If you're very visual, it might include a lot of pictures. If you think in sounds, there'll be lots of sounds in there. If you're in touch with your feelings, there'll be lots of feelings in there. But no matter how much you chop up and prod and poke your brain, you will never be able to find one of those pictures. Or to put it another way, if you've ever had a song stuck in your head and it just goes round and round and round, we may at that point be able to scan your brain and see some evidence of what's going on. Certain parts of your brain may light up, there may be more activity whilst that song's going round in your head. But seeing that on the brain scan is not the same as seeing the song. Because the song doesn't exist in your brain. The song exists in your mind, and only in your mind. Now this is very important because often when people come to see me for the first time and we start working, they'll tell me that they think there must be something actually wrong with their brain because they get stuck in this negative thinking, or because they feel a certain way all of the time and they don't have control over it. But it's very unlikely that the problem is in the brain. Now obviously, if you've had head trauma or you have a degenerative brain disease, yes, you can have something physically wrong with your brain. But 99% of the time, that's not actually what's going on. 99% of the time, it's your mind that is causing the problem. It's just like if you have a problem with your mobile phone or with your computer, first thing you do is you switch it off and then you switch it back on again. And most of the time that's going to fix whatever problem you have. Because it's not actually a problem with the device. It's a problem with what that device is doing. It's a problem with the way that it's configured. And it's the same thing with your brain. It's very unlikely that you have a problem with your brain. It's much more likely that whatever problem you're experiencing is in your mind. Now, I know that there's a certain stigma in our culture about having problems that are all in the mind. Almost as if you don't have a mind that you're in perfect control over, then there's something wrong with you. But actually the opposite is true. Hardly, in fact nobody, has total control over their mind. It's just not the way that it works. We all have some things that we're in control of and some things we're not even aware of. So many things happen outside of your conscious awareness. And in the middle, there's some things maybe that you're aware of, but you don't have the control that you would like. So if you have a problem controlling your eating, you find yourself automatically opening the fridge and piling the food onto your plate. That's an example of something which is very automatic, but you're kind of aware that you're doing it. And in this moment, there's a real sense of there's something wrong. There's something that's not working out the way that it's supposed to. That's not your brain that's causing that, that's your mind that's causing that. What hypnotherapy does is it puts you in touch with these automatic things that are happening in your mind so that you have more control over them. And you can take things which are automatic and you can change them at that level. So if you have a phobia, for example, you have automatically whenever you see a dog or a spider or whatever it is, you have this particular response, you have all of the fear that comes up, the panic that comes up. We can change that with hypnotherapy so that you just have a different response of remaining calm and maybe even being slightly pleased that you've beaten your phobia. If you have a problem with your weight, then maybe something slightly different is required. So maybe what you want is to take this thing which is very automatic and have more control over it, so that you have more conscious control over what you choose to eat and when you choose to eat. so that you don't find yourself automatically wandering over to the fridge, you have more motivation, more willpower, more determination, more control over your actions when you're sitting at the table or watching TV or whatever it is, so that you just don't do that automatic thing anymore. Now, obviously, we've only very briefly touched on the importance of the brain and the mind and how they work together and how that can sometimes cause problems or challenges. There will be more videos that explain that coming very soon. In the meantime, if you are interested to learn more about exactly how this applies to your situation and how hypnotherapy could work for you, underneath this video, depending on what platform you're watching it on, if you're on my website, you'll see probably a big red button that you can click and use to set up an appointment either with myself, a telephone appointment either with myself or with somebody else who's very expert in these things. It's completely free of charge and it lasts for between 20 and 30 minutes, and we'll firstly start by asking you, exactly what's going on and what are you struggling with. Then we'd explain a little bit about why you're struggling with that and how hypnotherapy can be used to begin to change and to treat that for you. There's also a very clear and transparent discussion about exactly how much things cost, so there's never any nasty surprises. And we'll talk a little bit about what hypnotherapy is as well, because some people are a little bit apprehensive and there's some unusual and slightly wacky ideas out there about what hypnosis is, that we can talk to you about that, and you can have a much better understanding of exactly what to expect if you do come in for a session. So that's the link underneath this video, so it's a big red button on my website. Otherwise, you'll probably see it in the discussion or the comments on Facebook or YouTube or wherever it is that you're watching this. So till next time, unchain your mind, release your potential, of course.